Good morning. We are live with Interchain Live. This is Ryan Munn. I've got Alex and Patty on from Aerum blockchain project, and I'm really excited to hear more about Aerum. It looks like a very interesting project that went through its pre-sale recently and now has an ICO coming up, a whitelist sale coming up. And so Patty and Alex, Patty, why don't you start with us? Let me know, tell our audience, what your background is and what your role is with Aerum.
Okay, cool. I'm Paddy O'Sullivan. I'm a chief blockchain engineer at Aerum, and my background is mainly in system administration, security, and development.
Awesome, awesome. And how long have you been with Aerum?
About a year now, I think it is. Just
okay.
Maybe over even.
Right on. Cool, cool. And Alex, tell us, what's your position and background?
Okay, my name is Alex Shondorich. I'm actually CEO of Aerum. And my background is pretty much in FinTech, and most of the time there I was C-suite executive in a transaction processing company. I've been involved in finance too, run algorithmic trading fund, and switched completely to blockchain in early 2016. However, been involved since 2012.
Awesome, awesome. And that brings up another question for you, Patty, real quick. How long have you been kind of paying attention to blockchain, or was Aerum your first kind of step into blockchain engineering?
It's kind of hard to pinpoint how long I've been keeping an eye on it, because it's always been that kind of like. But yeah, Aerum's like it's my main focus is now blockchain since I'm in there.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Right on, right on. So now, Alex, can you tell me a little bit about sort of the background, or sort of, how you really got started with Aerum?
Yeah, I actually was involved in few blockchain projects before with different types of blockchain.
I need a mic.
Little office business.
Yeah, we have an echo.
We're always multitasking.
Because sitting in the same room, it creates
an
effect.
Gotcha. Yeah. There you go.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, guys.
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah, so I was involved in a couple of blockchains projects before with different types of blockchain. Was involved a little bit with Bitcoin. Was involved with Waves, and I co-founded another blockchain project. It's more DApp type of project related to vacation rentals. So basically, I've been exposed to kind of blockchain from more DApp platform side. I co-founded also a project that was related to tokenization, financial assets. So basically, all those ventures were kind of users of blockchain technology. So I saw firsthand advantages, but also at some point limitations of existing technology. So we've seen like capacity being constantly pushed to the limit in both Bitcoin and Ethereum, to the border of limited usability, when some hot ICOs were coming in, when CryptoKitties, and when people started to actively trade market. So even, requests in Ethereum and Bitcoin both to deposit and withdraw money from exchanges actually created a lot of traffic on the network. And we've seen fees being very unstable, like rising 100 times, which is crazy if you think about. No business can operate in this environment when this whole structure and duration of transaction is completely unpredictable. It can vary by two levels, two factors, like by 100 times. So we started to look at some point to find a technology that would suit us. At the same time, it will be well supported, well tested. So we couldn't find anything that would actually tick all the boxes. So decision was made actually to build something for our own use, but at some point it became apparent that the effort would be quite significant. It would take a lot of time, a lot of effort, and at some point we realized we don't want to build like a private network or anything like that. So actually, let's build something that other people also can use. This is how Aerum was born.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it's interesting because you mentioned your background with Waves, and I don't know if you're aware, but the token that Interchain Live has launched is on the Waves platform. Mainly ease of use, right? User friendliness made it easy for us to do that. But I'd be very interested to hear a little bit of contrast from your background experience and understanding how that platform works. I obviously don't think there's going to be one coin to rule them all, right? There's plenty of space out there for competition,
Absolutely.
and we've all got to figure out how to interoperate. But I'm very curious from your background perspective, what you can share as far as kind of some contrasts or some key things that you may have observed and learned with Waves that you've done a little differently with Aerum that's really kind of making the difference.
Well, just to clarify, I was never involved with development of Waves as a platform, more from the user side to build applications on top of it. But I have a lot of connection to community. I know some people there. I have connection to Sasha Ivanov, the founder of Waves. So the thing is, like, if you look at history of Waves, Waves was built, if I'm not mistaken, on a technology of NXT blockchain. So he was actually kind of related to it, and it's all this family of 1.5, if you will, generation 1.5 of blockchains before Ethereum, or the same. Well, not before, technically, not before the Ethereum, but technology was kind of. If you
in parallel, is all those are all being developed around the same time.
Ethereum, yeah, because it's kind of smart contract, but it's not smart contract like Ethereum. But it's a long conversation. But anyways,
sure, yeah.
So this is a good platform. In Waves, what I like the most is, like you mentioned, user friendliness. They built probably at this time definitely the most user friendly wallet. And design-wise, it has some great perks, and we actually took some ideas from them because we actually liked it very much. So the DAGs built into wallet is very good. There are some drawbacks, obviously. I think, in my opinion, it's really centralized. Not in a sense it's centralized by design, but in a centralized how it's came to be
in manifestation currently, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's a big challenge with a lot of blockchains, is that ultimately there's only so many people participating, and we're all kind of vying over those people to participate and run nodes and make investments, and there's only so many of us to go around. So
in this case, I think the problem is not even with people running nodes. I think it's all right there. It's more like a gateways, because network, to be honest, is not very big. So liquidity is not so high, and you need really easy ways to communicate with other blockchains. So what they're doing, they're running gateways. Idea is great, but it's very similar if you think about what is doing Ripple, and by comparison, Stellar is doing, because it's basically based originally, at least, on Ripple, because the same guy who was CTO in Ripple. So the gateways are centralized. The same problem. I understand why. It's technology limitation, especially if you want to do fiat. There is no way to get around it. But nevertheless, it's a problem, because pretty much you can cut off liquidity at any moment. And this is one of the reasons we decided to push to great limit with Aerum to build decentralized gateways to other networks. So currently we're running decentralized atomic swaps with Ethereum, but we plan to add swaps with Bitcoin, Litecoin, and other, pretty much most of the blockchain that can support this type.
And are these atomic swaps? Are these atomic swaps?
Atomic swaps, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Excellent. Great.
So it's fully decentralized, yeah.
Excellent. Yep. And so one of the things that I talked about with the token that we launched for Interchain Live was interoperability, and being able to retain the ability to essentially swap tokens onto other blockchains, or issue fresh tokens on separate blockchains.
Right.
And so it's really important to kind of recognize that interoperability that's really there. It requires a little bit of work sometimes for different projects to be able to work together, but that interoperability is kind of baked into blockchain and the principles of how it's built. And so it's pretty exciting to see sort of the barriers and boundaries breaking down that way.
Yeah, I think this is where it's going to go, definitely.
Yeah. So, and on that note, so Patty, can you share a little bit about really your role as a blockchain engineer there, and how you've, what your experience has been building this thing?
Yeah, well, I've had a great experience to start off with. My role is mainly networks and.
Well, you better say that. Your boss is on the line here.
Sorry. Can you hear me? Actually, I thought my microphone was off.
Yeah, I got you. Oh, now it's off. Hang on, you just turned it off.
Ah, okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so my role is mainly system administration, setting up networks, and I was directly involved with the implementation of our consensus algorithm, DX process as well.
Okay, cool. So you started off running some of the testnet nodes and kind of managing that,
Yeah,
and now
developing the wallet in the early days as well.
Awesome, awesome, cool. And so you mentioned that this is really like your shift into blockchain was with Aerum.
Official shift, yeah.
Official shift, yeah. So like, has there been like a learning curve, or were you pretty much like, ready to go when you came into Aerum? Like, had you been learning about blockchain for a while as a developer?
Yeah, no, I was learning about it for a while, but then I got the great experience of working with an expert like Alex. So yeah, definitely learning all the time with him.
Awesome. And what other experience do you have in terms of like other platforms, like to compare and contrast? What have you kind of worked with or explored, maybe looking at to kind of get inspiration or get some background as you're coming into the Aerum project?
Well, I've mainly focused on Ethereum. I've kind of had like tunnel vision with just Ethereum because I like developing within and stuff. So.
Yep, great. Which is why you guys are already interoperating with Ethereum, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, cool. So, I want to talk a little bit about the tech. Give me a second. I'm gonna share my screen here, and why don't we start just talking about how is it that you guys accomplish no fees? Because I know that's what burns in my brain from what I saw on the website. Can you talk a little bit about how you're accomplishing that?
Yeah. So if I may.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you can switch off, so I'll have it on. Yeah, basically what we have is a fee subsidizing model. So it's built on characteristics of our consensus algorithm in the way our tokenomics works. So what we have a separate token, which is actually on Ethereum mainnet. And this is a governance and voting token, and governance staking and voting token. And the network itself, our network, has its own coin, which is minted, and this every new block, basically a block reward. And this coin is used to pay for transaction fees. But owning a token and staking the token or participating in consensus but being a delegate actually give you a block reward, participating in block reward, and so you can get these coins basically for free, and you can then distribute those coins to your business users, to your customers. So if you're running an app or platform or marketplace, basically we set up mechanism how you can seamlessly distribute this coin in a necessary quantity for them to pay for transaction. So it's completely free to them.
So what we're talking about is proof of participation in a sense, right?
In a sense, yeah.
They're being rewarded for being actively engaged. Yes, some of it's for staking, but also you're saying they're getting rewarded for actually voting and participating in the consensus of the ecosystem?
Yeah, we can call it like proof of business participation or something like that, because the key cornerstone idea here is this minting, this delegating is done not by anonymous random users, how it is in proof of work, how it is in many proof of stake system, but actually we require consensus requires them to reveal their identity, and they have to be business users. So basically they have to have inherent economic interest in supporting the network, securing the network. However, it's not being enforced by us. That's why we believe we can call it permissionless network. It's because there is no way we stipulate it. It's something we encourage, and this is something that will be enforced by the delegates themselves. So there is a definite interest for them only to elect or approve delegates that are like them, basically business entities that have business model running on Aerum. So they don't want to have some kind of guys who may have not the same best interest in mind, like selfish miners or something like that. However, staking does not require any kind of identity revelation, so it's anonymous.
Okay, interesting. So now how do you establish the real decentralization of the actual nodes in that network? How is that being kept really permissionless?
Yeah, so basically anybody can participate. So there is no any kind of approval process from us. So basically, you can download container or just compile the GitHub code yourself and build a node. All you need to do then to acquire some token and create a request to consensus mechanism, which is basically a set of smart contracts on Ethereum mainnet. So you request to become a delegate, you place a security bond, and basically you need to communicate with community or community channels. For now, it will be a Telegram and some other means of communications, but in future, we believe we will be building a decentralized community, decentralized corporation, basically through with the help of Aragon team. We've already been discussing it with them. They're eager to help us. So this decentralized organization, or better called decentralized company or community, DAC, will be basically handling all aspects of governance on the network, except the voting in and voting out delegates. This is what is done directly in smart contracts of Aerum. The rest will be done by Aragon smart contracts. So basically, DAC.
Awesome,
So,
awesome.
Yeah. So basically, to complete the answer. There is no, as I said, no approval process required by us, so anybody can do it. It's just there are two stages, two steps that require. So first, you need to request to become a delegate, place a security bond, and other delegates have to demand you to basically reveal yourself, identify yourself, basically decentralized KYC, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then you need to convince other users, other stakers, basically network participants, token holders, to stake enough token with you to validate your identity. So by passing the first step, being approved by other delegates, only get you eligible to be a delegate. So you're a delegate but inactive. Then you need to get a certain balance of stake tokens for you to become an active delegate. So
is that kind of like a lease model? The way, again, I'm referring to waves in the lease proof of stake. So you're getting other people that have
very similar.
Okay, and do they have to be active delegates, or it can be anybody that's eligible, and then they're sharing tokens, or could it be the user can stake their tokens with an eligible delegate to help them?
Yeah, anybody, any user, any anonymous user can stake their token to support their delegate, and they don't need to have any KYC or anything like that. However, to prevent Sybil attack, to prevent any kind of malicious behaviors, power grab, our consensus actually limits the power of delegate, basically making all of them exactly the same, giving them exactly the same voting power, pretty much like a Congress or Senate.
Right.
No matter how many people actually voted in. So what is only needed, only to keep the staked amount above the threshold. Actually, the system we built discourages overstaking, because every delegate receives exactly the same amount of coin.
Right. You don't actually want hoarding. You just want securing of the network.
Yeah. So basically, if you have way too much tokens being staked for you, you will have less coin to distribute to per each token. This is done especially to support adding new delegates. So there is no situation when there is a limited amount of delegates and nobody else can join because people just don't give them any stake. So we make it economically feasible, economically incentivized to stake more delegates. So more delegates we have, the more secure the network is.
Gotcha. So now, Patty, what kind of challenges have you run into on the development side to really, get this to work?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Development side, it's been pretty okay, but on the server side, there's been a couple of challenges, all right, which we've now thankfully ironed them all out.
Okay. Now, what do you mean by that on the server side, as far as getting the node to run effectively in the server without being
basically and connectivity and things like that. We've ironed out all those issues now.
So, and how is it that you can make an anonymous participant in the network? How is it you can make that censorship resistant, right? Because they can be anonymous, and the network itself can be decentralized and permissionless. But if a hacker or a government wants to get in and try to DDoS attack on your network, or somebody wants to shut down the DNS pointers to your network, how do you combat that?
Well, anonymous nodes don't really have any power on the network, and the only people who would kind of like have much power would be a delegate, and they're pretty much all KYC'd in anyway. So
yeah, if I may add, actually censorship resistance has been one of the main concerns we try to solve by sorry, because I don't know, for some reason his microphone always making horrible echo. Sony headphones. Anyways, so that's what we tried to solve, and this is what we see in pretty much any POS blockchain. They have the same inherent problem. You can look at recent example. The biggest probably ever example is EOS. What do you have? Like at some point, you have a relatively small number of validators established in a network,
right?
And basically, they control voting and they control mining or minting blocks, right? And voting happens on the same blockchain. So basically, somebody imagine somebody wants to vote some delegate out, right? Some block producer in their lingo. Anyways, basically something that people in power, basically, maybe they controlled some of them by government or for something else. They don't want it to happen. So all they need to do, just not to mine your transaction, not to include it in a block. And even if smaller number of these block generators, block miners are still honest and they will include your transaction in a block, all they need to do, this guys holding majority, they just need to not to support this block that contains your transaction that goes against them. So because they have larger amount of nodes under control, right, they will maintain the longest network. So basically the bigger number of blocks. So what we are talking effectively is a side chain, side fork probably. So basically they will exclude any blocks that contain transaction that go against them. And in the end, they will basically ensure that nobody can demand them from power. And this is absolutely typical for any network with a limited number of just miners or delegates or proof of stake miners, if you will.
Yeah, I tend to agree, and I make the point all the time that it's really easy to buy 21 people.
yeah, absolutely, and you don't need to buy them,
especially if they're the ones that run the
well, it's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
short disclaimer, it's my personal opinion. I have no any insight into it, and I really believe technology behind EOS is great. It's like really bright people there, but it looks like something like OPEC, right? It's a cartel.
Yeah,
like They launched the network basically on the boardroom phone number on a teleconference. You know, it's like I don't know what to say, but
like you said, I think that they are doing some great things. They have some innovative tech, but in the having been personally watching the blockchain development space for about 7 years now, understanding the real importance of why this is even coming to fruition is censorship resistance and the ability to manifest reliable governance. And
absolutely.
And I think that while they may have some really cool things happening right now, and they do have some innovation, I see concerns in that structure for corruption and abuse, right? If it is a major exchange that's running the node, that's one of the 21 that has a lot of capital power to leverage and sort of manipulate the perception of their community that may be voting them in as a superdelegate. And that's where the opportunity for corruption lies, because they have a lot of capital power to influence that community. So it's really important, I think, that people can vie for participation and sort of voting rights and ownership rights in these platforms based on performance, based on their actual interaction. So your concept of being, proof of business use, proof of business activity, I think is really important, because it really demonstrates the support of the system.
Well, actually, it's a lot more. and this is why we actually believe Aerum is the most censorship resistant network, at least among proof of stake networks. Okay, so the way we do it, we have our governance located outside of our network. Our governance mechanism and the consensus mechanism is located on Ethereum mainnet, which is proof of work network. So basically, to silence and suppress some kind of change in governance structure for Aerum, you need to overcome proof of work, basically a hash power of Ethereum. You need to take over hash power of Ethereum mainnet. Good luck.
Right.
All the best. Yeah. Try and do this.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you're really speaking to the point that I've made a number of times, which is we actually need multiple chains and interoperability to continue pushing the security and censorship resistance needles in the right direction. Because, as much as blockchain takes us a flying leap from our traditional server models of protecting data, we still have, it's still not 100%. We'll never get to 100% security, right? But being able to expand the reliance on different chains, on different networks, really enhances that security and makes it that much more secure every step of the way. So that's really brilliant. I didn't know that before. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So Patty, can you talk a little bit about that actual implementation and how you guys are running that consensus on Ethereum?
Well, yeah, basically it's just a smart contract sitting on Ethereum, and it's it allows delegates in kind of like a round robin fashion. And there can be an unlimited amount of delegates, but we only have 10 operating at any one time. And the epoch for delegates is 1,000 blocks, so it like equates to 30 minutes because we have 2-second block time. Okay. And every 30 minutes, the delegates switch around to a new 10.
Oh, cool. So how many delegates do you guys have in the system right now?
We've got a couple of projects that we're working with on our testnet, so we've kind of bootstrapped it as well for the moment.
Okay. So internally, because you guys haven't completed the launch and everything for the tokens, so you have beta now. Okay, cool. So you have like a bootstrap beta network running, then you have like a testnet going with a bunch of potential participants once you guys go live.
Yeah. Awesome. Projects who want to test out the technology.
Great. Yeah, that's excellent. It's really exciting. So now let's talk a little bit about the token launch. Well, actually, before the token launch, you guys have successfully done a pre-sale, right? So share with me a little bit about how that pre-sale experience went and where you guys are at.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We raised $1 million in our seed round. Our private round started, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Alex, or thereabouts. It's going well as well.
Okay. So I'm sorry, so you had a private round and a pre-sale?
No, we had a seed round, but we raised $1 million, and our private round started last week. But the exact numbers in the private round, I don't know.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So the $1 million I saw that you guys raised, was that the seed round or was that the pre-sale?
Yeah, it's a seed round. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, and what did you guys raise in the pre-sale?
Well, as Patty stated, it's been just started a few weeks ago. It's not.
Oh, so it's ongoing still. I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's so actually the way, because
I thought I saw this looked like it was completed. Am I reading that wrong? Oh, that's the seed round. Okay, so it's not following through on.
So it's all tokens, including seed round tokens. Everything that was available for sale, 70% of all cap that was actually distributed through seed round.
Okay.
And the private round is just started. Basically, everything is very slow. So negotiation take a lot of time because there is no FOMO. You understand what kind of market we're in.
Right.
So it's not like heyday when the people looked at.
Yeah, it wasn't done in 24 hours.
5 minutes they're in. Now it probably what took 5 minutes before takes maybe a month now.
Right.
So everything is slow because there is no way to rush. There is no missing a train right now until market picks up. But so basically on Monday we starting basically doing the launch for our whitelist. Now we're running pre-whitelist, basically just pre-registration. And on Monday you will be able to pledge tokens and bind tokens as well through the whitelist. And that will be running until the end of the year. And in January, for 1 month, we will run just a crowd sale for remaining amount of tokens allocated to public, in total 30% of all issuance. Whatever is left after the whitelist will be available on pre-sale, on public sale, sorry, on crowd sale.
Awesome. Awesome. And you guys, so there's a bounty program set up here, and is that is some of that live now, or is that going to go live after the completion of your ICO, your sale?
No, all of them are live now.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So
some
people
of them
can
already,
jump in there and
some of them completed, so they're not here.
Okay, got it. Awesome. And so, can you tell me a little bit more about your broader team?
Yeah, we have pretty big team for this type of project. So we have 13 permanent members, and we have 8 advisors, and we have about 10 to 12 people working with us on marketing, on team support, on community support, but they're like contractor people.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
excellent.
we have like 8 engineers. I think it's really strong team.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about some of the other people on your team here, as far as like advisors and you know, who you're working with? I guess, what's your strategy with some of the advisors you brought on, and where's your sort of next step once you've launched and you're really tapping into business? What's your sort of you know, what's your business plan as far as making those inroads?
Well, definitely we're going to continue developing technology. We have outlined up to 3 versions: Essentials, production version 2 and 3 for next pretty much next 2 years.
Yeah.
And but for any kind of infrastructure project like that, business development and getting word around is very important to spread adoption. So what we have started to do, we're working very closely with several projects, and we're looking to expand it really dramatically. We have started to build communities of developers. We communicate with people in Asia, in China, and in Europe, to actually start adoption going from developer point of view, because, you know, for infrastructure project, you need to have something like applications, real world applications available on a network first before you can really attract customers like end users. It's always a chicken and egg situation for any platform. You know, the project or vendors don't come in until you have customers, and customers never come in before you have significant amount of vendors, of quality vendors.
Now, but you guys run Solidity, right? So there's a lot of projects out there.
Absolutely, yeah.
That can transition over if, you know.
Absolutely. We're fully compatible with Ethereum.
Yeah, absolutely. Excellent, excellent. So, well, you know, I don't want to take up too much of your time, because I know you guys definitely have a lot of work to do. But this is really exciting stuff. I think Aerum is definitely stands out among some of the projects out there, and I would definitely love to keep tabs and catch up with you guys again as you progress. What's the best way for folks to sort of pay attention and you know, keep in touch with the Aerum project, you know, whether they get involved in the ICO or they just want to pay attention to the development and find out the next partners that join you guys?
Yeah, probably the best is to join our Telegram channel and maybe subscribe to join Telegram group and subscribe to our Telegram channel. I can post the links, or I can send it to you and you can post them.
Yep.
And you can subscribe to Twitter, Facebook groups. We have news and articles flowing there. You can subscribe to our Medium. Probably the most convenient way would be to just reach our landing page, our webpage, aerum.com. That's a cool name we have. And basically, you get all the social media links on the right side, right there.
Yep.
Yeah. And so you can get in touch with us. You can send us email, or you can get in touch or any social media channel.
Awesome, awesome. Well, and I've also got to throw in a shameless plug here for Vermont. I don't know if I ended up talking to you guys about it before, but we have this blockchain-based limited liability corporation available in Vermont that might be a good sandbox place for you guys to be launching a U.S. Implementation and get the you know, participation going that way, get some press about it. So
absolutely,
yeah, awesome.
That would be definitely interesting to discuss, because I have to mention that this token sale is not available to public from United States, Canada, and People's Republic of China due to obvious reasons. Even though we would definitely consider our token being a utility token. But anyways, it is what it is.
Right. Everybody's got to be real careful around the SEC and, you know, try to figure it out. And, you know, you don't want to put your business at risk just to, you know, push the agenda. So.
Yeah, at the same time, we definitely are going to explore the route to offer STO, security-based token for US investors. And this is something we will be exploring within a month or so. Just to mention, the private allocation of token is actually not tied up to our public sale. It can run after the public sale until they're all sold on a condition that vesting schedule is implemented. So basically, they cannot be sold directly to the market for a period of time, but will be kept in the vesting wallet. A similar provision to IPOs. But at the same time, so we can guarantee those tokens won't be dumped on the market anyways. So in this case, we can keep offering them even after the token is listed on exchanges. And by the way, we already have several agreements with exchanges, so we expect token to be listed right after the end of ICO.
Excellent, excellent. That's good to hear. And I'll follow up later to find out which those exchanges are, I think. Awesome. So I want to keep in touch and track what you guys are doing. We'll definitely keep our ears to the ground. We'll, you know, I think there's some exciting partnerships on the way, and we'd love to talk about that in the future as well. So thank you guys for joining us so much. Patty, it's good to have you here as well. I really appreciate getting the perspective on the tech side and all the development, and I really enjoy talking with you guys. So we'll sign off here. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, audience.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yep.
All right, guys. Everybody have a great day.